This is Providence Television International, the game changer.
Good day and welcome to the newspaper analysis on Providence Television International. My name is Ugwebo Ikekwa. With me in the studio is Dr. Emmanuel Igariba. You're welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much. It's a beautiful day and I guess we'll glory in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we'll go to the front page of the Vanguard newspapers, where we have NLC, TUC, others reject 50% tariff hike. NLC rallies Nigerians against the hike and threatens to boycott telecoms.
Well, I don't know, but I think I've said it before that this is the time we shouldn't even be talking about tariffs at all. Nigerians are already under a heavy burden arising from the economy, all right? So you're adding to the burden with this. And you know how many people are going to be affected by this? Millions and millions of people who are already saddled with all kinds of costs. Now, I'm happy though that the trade union movements have spoken out loud against this. But my worry is, will government listen to them? Will government even listen to the people? And I've said it here before, that the National Assembly ought to have played a role in all of this. The reason being that they represent the people, and this is a major decision by government in collaboration with the operators. Yes. And before you go into that, the people must be carried along. And who are the representatives of the people? Of course, the National Assembly members. That was not done. And suddenly, like a storm, the thing has come down heavily on the people. I want to see the labor movement pushing it through so that we can, even if there's going to be an increase, maybe about 10% or something, but as long as their services will improve, because their services right now are very poor. Connectivity is poor and that sort of thing. So, but that is not, this is the wrong time, obviously, to do it. If the economy was better, yes, we could talk about this. And a lot of Nigerians are very unhappy. In fact, I don't even know now, are they proposing it or they have started? Because I only heard this morning that you load your phone and before you know it, the money is gone.
It's gone, yes.
So it could be that they have even started without the people knowing it. But if it's just a proposition, then there's room for amendment. Okay, so we can go back to where we were.
All right, let us look at the side of the operators. The operators are coming out to say that the last time there was an increase in tariffs was in 2013. And with present day Nigeria, how do they run? We know that most of them run on diesel on a daily basis. They don't depend on your power supply. And so they are coming out to say, initially they came out to say it was 100%, but the NCC has come out to say no, 50%, fair enough. If we're talking about 10%, do you think that this will be enough for the running cost of the organization?
But ironically, they are making profits. They are turning out profits. They have not told you, they have not told Nigerians, they are running at a huge loss. No, they are still posting profits, okay? But it's just that many of these operators, or some of them really, they want to maximize their profits at the detriment, to the detriment of the people. Okay, this is not the time to profiteer, really. I mean, that's my position. And I think that, yes, if there must be increase, let it be minimal, so that Nigerians don't fall down too heavily under the weight of this burden. But let's face it. The government ought to be on the side of the people. That's what I always postulate on our programs and on this station, by the way. They must be on the side of the people. Right now, the people have been left in abeyance. That's what is happening. They've been left in abeyance. Nobody is coming to the rescue of the people who sustain businesses for the operators. Without the people, they won't be in business, of course. So really, they must do a rethink as quickly as possible. Okay? Yeah.
Now, we've seen situations, anytime there happens to be a falling tanker, especially when it is loaded with petroleum products, the next thing that you see is that individuals go to scoop fuel. And the truth of the matter is that they know the consequences. So the question now is it that they have a death wish, or they are just hell-bent to commit suicide. We go to the front page of the Nigerian News Direct, where we have mixed reactions. Trail oil scooping in Mina, barely 48 hours after Diko tragedy.
I don't know why Nigerians don't learn from past mistakes. I really don't know. And these are they're not just mere mistakes. I think the suicide missions, because we've said it repeatedly, and I think that most of them know it, but they are just unnecessary risk takers. When a tanker falls down, spilling out fuel, PMS, the next thing that happens could be just a little substance igniting the whole thing.
Yeah.
And there's inferno. It burns like hell. And people are consumed almost beyond recognition.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
burnt to ashes sometimes. And we don't want to talk about that, but that's what happens. They are burnt to ashes, barely unrecognizable, barely recognizable.
Yeah.
They are burnt beyond recognition. And our people see it. They see these things, possibly on television or in the newspaper, but they hardly learn. What happens, and I put a poster across the other day, the drivers of these tankers and their motorboys, they hardly get consumed.
Exactly.
Because they run away. Immediately it happens, they run far because they know the danger. But our people, I won't say because of the economy, because even when the economy was good and everybody was happy, they were still doing it. Remember the JSA thing a few years ago?
Yes.
I mean, the economy was good at that time, but our people are just greedy. They want everything that is free. Yes. Oh, this is free fuel. But they forget that their lives are in danger. They will scoop. Most of them don't have vehicles. They don't have motorbikes. They don't even have generators.
Yes.
But they just scoop and go and sell to motorists because they know apparently that fuel is very expensive now. But what of their lives? They don't reckon with their lives. And I think that's where the real danger is. I should think that there should be, never mind what has happened, there should be continuing enlightenment programs on radio, particularly in the languages.
Okay.
Yes, for radio, television. There should be constant reminders that these things, and they happen from time to time, by the way. 2 have happened now in the space of how many weeks? Maybe 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And they will continue to happen as long as we have bad roads. And as long as spare parts are expensive, because most of these drivers, they will say, oh no, we want to manage and all that. The human element is also there. Most of them take all kinds of drugs. And so while they are driving, they fall asleep and things like that, and anything can happen. But our hearts go out to the families, all the same, to the families of those people who lost their lives. So we won't say because of that I would not commiserate with them. So, but that's it. But Nigerians should learn. They should learn that these things are, it's usually when it happens, it's a tragedy.
Exactly. It is.
Yes, it's a tragedy.
Uncontrollable. I
Yes.
have pictures and videos about the last one, but I just decided not to play it on this program. They were just too gory. If you see,
The gory, yes, I know. Yes,
really, they were, and
the gory. The gory.
Really,
But
really
we can
something.
describe things. I mean, that's the benefit of having to discuss some of these things on television. In television, you have to show the pictures, but sometimes it's unethical to show things that are too graphic. Right?
Yes.
Because some people, it affects their sensibilities, by the way. So we have to be very careful about the way we do it.
Exactly. Well, do you think the National Orientation Agency is doing enough as regards sensitization?
I don't think they are doing enough. I don't think they are doing enough. If they are doing enough, it will show, it will tell.
Okay.
I should think that, yes, they should translate some of this into the various languages and play even on their own vehicles as they go around. It's easier for them to do. But they will tell you that they have no vehicles to go around, particularly the interiors. They will tell you, I mean, we know the way things work in government, and that's a major handicap for them. But that shouldn't stop them from doing the right thing, okay? Even the state ministries of information and orientation or whatever can also do something, because these things can happen anytime, as long as we have bad roads, you know, because these vehicles, they tip over. Either they're going to bend or they're trying to escape potholes and things like that. They tip over, and they easily tip over. Yes. Once there's imbalance between the body, the bucket they call it, and the head of the truck, there's a problem. So when they lose equilibrium, disaster happens.
Well, this brings us to our next story. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria have come out to complain. And what's the complaint? Daily Trust front page says 1.4 trillion unsold goods recorded in 2024. This is coming from the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria and says Nigeria heading towards hyperinflation.
Yes, I saw it coming. We talked about it. We talked about it many, many times on this station. That look, the way we're going, particularly in the year just gone by, we're going to have issues. And it's coming up now from the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. Okay? They represent a big chunk of the organized private sector. Let's face it. And the reason why they are saying that is people they didn't have money to buy goods. And so unsold goods are just there in their warehouses, and things. It's not as if they couldn't manufacture, but what are the end points? People will not buy these things because they are very expensive. Okay? So we must sympathize with them, naturally. But even at that, government should now think of bringing down some of the costs of some of these, the cost of running businesses. Petrol should come down. I've said that repeatedly. We are dancing in circles. As long as PMS is not coming down, we're going to be having problems. Yes. It's simple. It's simple economics. And a lot of people have talked about this, for heaven's sake. As long as, and look at it now, even the price of petrol is still going to rise. Okay? It's still going to rise beyond the 1,000 margin. Yet, we have Dangote working, we have Warri, so to speak, we have Port Harcourt, 3 on stream at the moment. And yeah, we don't have prices that are coming down. And don't forget that the U.S. are just wanting a new president.
Yes.
A new president that is hell-bent on improving the value of the dollar. He's hell-bent on that. And once that happens, they will gain traction. And that also means that for many developing countries, there will be hyperinflation. We are seeing it. It will come, evidently, unless we do something very dramatic and miraculous. Otherwise, we'll be in for big trouble in 2025.
Well, so many people have asked this question. With these 3 refineries that you mentioned on ground, is there really any use? That is the first question I'm going to. What is their impact? Is their impact be felt? And then, secondly, this issue of dollar to crude, is there nothing that any organization in Nigeria can do about it?
First of all, the first question is a bit of an irony that we are producing petrol. Why is the price not going down? And people are they are befuddled, really. Why are we having? In fact, the price is going up now, as I said earlier, going up still. Okay, then. Dollar to crude.
Exactly.
That is in itself is very crude. It's very crude. It's unexplainable. Right? You are producing crude in this country. Why don't you sell? There was a problem between government and Dangote over the same issue sometime ago, remember. But the excuse was that no, the price is controlled at the international market. What's our business? We're talking of local production, for crying out loud. We're not talking about export. We are talking about local consumption. And there must be a difference. And in any case, we have been told that subsidy has been removed.
Yes.
What effect is that? What impact is it making on us? What impact? We are not feeling it. And government must be told in clear terms that there is suffering in the land. There is. There's no doubt about it. Okay? So, the policymakers in this country should sit down and work out something that is going to be more comfortable for the majority of Nigerians. Right now, I don't know really. It's quite disturbing. It's quite disturbing. When you think of the way things are going in this country, even the 70,000 they are talking about for minimum wage,
yes,
it has led to nowhere. Okay, prices of foodstuff are rising, transportation rising, rentals rising. Okay, so
healthcare services.
Of course, yes. And where do we now go from here? We need to do a total turn around so that the average Nigerian can heave a sigh of relief that, yes, the economy is on the upward swing.
All right. We'll now move to foreign news analysis. The United States of America has a new president in the person of Donald Trump. Donald Trump's, one of his policies is clamping down on illegal migrants. We'll be basing our story. There's a special report that we will be having as regards the issues of migration in the United States presently. And I'll be taking that report. The United States immigration authorities have been granted the ability to arrest individuals at schools, churches, and hospitals following President Donald Trump's administration's reversal of policies that previously classified these locations as off-limits for enforcement. The policy change ends after a decade of restrictions that protected these sensitive areas. The Department of Homeland Security, which oversees immigration, customs enforcement, and border protection, emphasized the importance of eliminating spaces where individuals could evade arrest. And so it brings me to my next question. A situation where individuals can now be arrested in churches. What does the issue of sanctuary? Does it make no sense anymore legally?
Look, let me tell you. A country, any country, has the right to determine how illegal migrants are fished out.
Okay.
Yes, that's their prerogative.
Okay.
You're hiding in sanctuaries, but you have committed an offense. So there's no hiding place. In fact, they should know that there's a new sheriff in town. That's very important. And the man has told the whole world that his policy is America first. That's what I said. I'm not saying, and nobody should make any mistake about it really, that is after immigrants, generally speaking. It's only after illegal migrants.
Okay.
Now, two categories. One, those who entered America illegally, particularly those who have common boundaries, Mexico and maybe Canada. Okay. Now, the second group, those who entered legally, like many Nigerians, but their visas have expired. Okay. So if your visa has expired and you continue to stay in the country, so you need to renew. And the renewal process is difficult, particularly if you're looking forward to getting the green card. It's difficult. Okay. So these are two areas. These are two groups of people that you may consider to be illegal migrants. And there are many. My worry is that Nigeria has a big chunk of these illegal migrants in the United States. Quite a big chunk. Because, and you know, America is a melting pot. Okay. All kinds of people, all manner of people from all over the world, they empty into America. But they also have their own national interest to protect. Okay. It's like Nigeria, for instance. At a point in time, they'll say, oh no, Ghana must go. Because at that point in time, there were a big drain on the economy of this country. But let's face it. If our country was doing well, economically and all of that, will Nigerians go out? The question is no. They won't go out. If we have all the indices of progress and development, nobody will go out. Now, I will tell you, on the streets of Brussels, in Belgium, Nigerians are just lying down the streets. On the streets of Brussels. So we've seen it here on television. Even in some other European countries, okay? Let alone US, which is the land of opportunities. Land of opportunities, but enter legally. There are many Nigerians who have been in the US for upward of, by the way, they are residents now. They've been in the US for 20, 25, 30 years. They've had children. Some of them, many of them do not want to come back because there's nothing to hang on to when they come back. But America has accepted them, you know. And there are many academics who are in the universities. America cannot even release them because they are contributing massively to the development of that country. So coming back is a no-no area, all right? So, but churches, hospitals, and all of that, you call them safe sanctuaries, okay. But what does the Constitution of the United States say? If you have Osama bin Laden today in the United States and he goes into a church, what happens? Because there are people who may be hiding under this and they are terrorists. Okay?
Okay.
Yes, it's true. Illegal migrants, they become terrorists against the national interests of the United States. So they go everywhere to fish them out. If you, in this country today, if there are people who are working against the national interests of Nigeria and they are hiding in churches, security people will go after them. That's for sure.
Yes.
Yes, even if you call them. In fact, if they go to churches, the leaders of those churches will be accomplices because they will be considered to be complicit in the whole thing. So nations must learn to get their priorities right. And you can't blame them. You can't blame the government of the U.S. for coming out with this kind of thing. In fact, I pity those who are from Mexico because there are big barriers between Mexico and the United States. Look at the irony. Mexico is just in the south.
Yeah.
America is sandwiched in the middle. Canada in the north. But you have so much poverty in Mexico. That's why they want to run to the U.S., but do it legally. Nobody will hold you. A lot of migrants entered illegally, and that's why the U.S. will say, no, we can't control this, and we can't accept it.
Right.
So that's the situation.
All right. If we remember, quite some years back, say about 20, 25 years back, it became a norm that a pregnant woman would want to travel abroad to give birth so that her offspring, her children, would become citizens of such countries like maybe the UK and the United States. But there is a stop to that now. This brings us to the front page of the Vanguard newspapers, where we have birthright citizenship. Nigerians in diaspora kick say it's illegal. And that is happening because Donald Trump has said that there will no longer be birthright citizenship. What's your take on this?
Well, a lot of Nigerians, not just Nigerians, a lot of people have taken advantage of this, possibly undue advantage. The woman gets pregnant, she runs quickly to the U.S., and then the baby is born there, and then automatically
You're an American citizen.
That's the problem on ground. And Trump is saying no, because the situation has been abused over time. All right. Even in England, when your baby is born in England, it takes some few years before the baby becomes a citizen.
Yes.
Maybe that's what they are aiming at ultimately, okay? Because one of the parents, that's what the law says, one of the parents must be a resident in the United States. But some parents, they are both illegal migrants.
Yes.
And then they have a child. That child now becomes the property of the U.S. government, by child rights provisions, okay? And it's a big drain on the government of the United States. I mean, a lot of people have taken advantage of it. But over time, that situation has been abused. Again, by people who enter America either through the front door, through the back door, okay? I understand up to about 23, 24 states have reacted to this.
Yes.
I
As at
can
yesterday,
tell you for sure that the case will get to the Supreme Court. Now, there's a deadline. The deadline is, I think, February 19 or thereabout, 19 or 29, I can't remember, but it's February. And a lot of things can happen between now and February. And the case will go on and on and on. Meanwhile, the situation has already been given the go-ahead.
Yes.
I mean, by way of executive order, for
yes.
instance. It's been, it's become law, as it were. I'm happy they've gone to court. And all those states, I think apparently all of them, are Democrat states.
Yes.
Yes.
So
they won't support any policy that's coming from the Republican. I mean, that's politics for you. But how far it goes, nobody knows. Let's see how the court is going to interpret this, because I do know that many, many years ago, there was an amendment to the U.S. Constitution that children of slaves, for instance, who now come back to the United States, so they can have residency, must be allowed, they must be integrated into the system. And America is a country, they profess that is one nation under God. Now, what does God say about being a brother's keeper? Some religious groups are already looking at that direction. Yes, I mean, people are poor, let's integrate them because this is God's own country, as it were. So let's integrate them properly. But Trump is looking at the after effects on the economy of the United States.
Exactly.
He wants to build it up, okay, so that there will be a lot of opportunities, for people to improve on themselves. There will be more room for American citizens to get more jobs, because right now migrants come and they take almost of the jobs. Yes, that's what is happening.
Well, thank you so much, Star, for being in the studio this morning. I want to say thank you so much. Well, that's it for the newspaper analysis for today. I hope to join you tomorrow for the analysis. And on this note, I want to say thank you so much once again. Please stay tuned.